Johnny Appleseed. Project done by 4B. Johnny Appleseed was a real person. His real name was John Chapman. He was born in Massachusetts.
Chapman spent his life traveling, planting, and selling apple trees. He eventually became known as Johnny Appleseed. We hope you enjoy this story.
It was a fall day more than 200 years ago. The leaves were orange, red, and yellow. The apples were ripe. On that day, a boy named John Chapman was born in Massachusetts. John grew up near the woods. He liked to play outside. He loved animals.
John went to school. He learned to read and write. He loved to learn new things. When John was old enough, he worked in an apple orchard. He liked to feel the sun on his back. He loved to smell the rich brown earth, but most of all, he loved the taste of fresh apples.
John had always wanted to go west. When he was a young man, John left home. As he walked, he carried a bag of apple seeds with him. John walked for miles and miles and miles. It was warm, so he wore no shoes. He stopped at a river in Pennsylvania. There, John planted his first apple orchard. John walked farther west. He planted more apple seeds along the way. John went back to his orchards many times. He took good care of his small apple trees. Other people were also going west. They stopped when they see John's apple orchard. John sold small trees to the settlers. They took the trees with them. They would plant them out west.
The settlers like apples. In late summer, they ate apples right off the trees. In the fall, the settlers put apples in cellars. The cellars were cold and dark. The apples would not spoil there, so the settlers could eat apples all year round. The settlers also baked the apples and cooked them in pots. They made applesauce and juice. They even fed apples to their cows.
John planted more trees. He walked and walked and walked. As he walked, John made many friends. John loved to tell stories to the people he met. Children liked to sit around a fire and listen to his stories. So did grown-ups. Each fall, John went back east to get more seeds. Then he headed west again and looked for places to plant new trees. In winter, John put fences around the orchards. He chopped firewood. He helped the settlers clear land.
John made friends with everyone. He learned to speak with Native Americans. Once there was a fire. John's apple trees were in danger. The Native Americans helped him put it out. John's apple orchard was saved. The Native Americans took John on hunting trips. They also taught him how to make a canoe from a log. Now he could travel on the rivers as well as on the land. The Native Americans showed John plants that were safe to eat. John also learned which plants could help cure sick people.
One day,
the Native Americans and settlers fought each other. John knew that many people could be hurt that day. He told the settlers to go a safe place. He helped save many lives that day.
John planted apple trees his whole life. He went to many different states. When he was 71, he was still planting trees. One day, John walked a long way to one of his orchards. When he came back, he was very tired. He died a few days later.
After John died, people began calling him Johnny Appleseed. They also told many tall tales about him. They said he played with a family of bears.
They said he saved a wolf's life, and the wolf became his pet.
People said John slept in trees. They said he talked to birds. People said John never wore shoes. They said he walked in the snow in his bare feet.
People said a snake bit John on his foot. They say John didn't die because his feet were so tough.
People even said he wore a pot for a hat. People told all kinds of stories about Johnny Appleseed. Are these stories true? Some of them maybe. We don't really know. We do know some things. Johnny Appleseed walked many miles. He walked across Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and even Iowa. He liked people and animals, and he liked to help others. And we know one thing for sure. Johnny Appleseed loved apples. He brought apples to many places and many people.
Thank you for listening. If you want to hear more stories, you'll have to wait for next year. Subscribe and give us loads of likes. Thank you. Bye.